hole. Draft MHJ number 1. Build around him. Bears football. Ryan Poles isn't trading Justin Fields. He's too smart for that. Bears football. Turning the 20th pick in the 2021 draft and the 7th and 112th picks in the 2022 draft into 3 years of minimal development, no playoffs, and a 2025 conditional 6th round pick. Bears football!
Football. That guy's lost his mind. Chicago football has made that guy lose his mind.
Yes.
I think Chicago football has made a lot of people lose their minds.
Pump, can you relate?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I'm not a sane person.
There's no way they could actually botch it. They can't botch it this year. It's set up for them to walk right into a successful draft.
You would think that way, but watch they draft Drake May.
They didn't botch the draft last year.
They did better.
Draft day, they did fantastic, I thought.
Yeah, no, they did good. They did good. They found a way to get the number 1 pick 2 years in a row. You only do that unless you're bad.
But I
2
think
years in a row.
Terrible.
They botched the obvious, though. It's obvious you have to draft Caleb Williams.
They're not botching that.
You never know.
Yeah,
they're not gonna
once
botch
again, you would think so, but it's still the Bears.
It is still the Bears, which I don't think they botch it.
We'll talk about the Bears here shortly. But welcome one, welcome all, welcome near, welcome far. Welcome to the world's greatest sports podcast. The Somebody Said Podcast, where we talk Bears football. We talk NHL hockey. Baseball is coming up. Opening day pump is I want to say the 28th.
I think it's
26.
Yeah, 26th of March. Rangers and Cubs kick off, actually.
Okay. So we'll be talking baseball here shortly. We talk basketball, women's college. It's madness time, fellas. We're going to get into that in the show here shortly. But before we do all of that, let's shout out our sponsors. The Red Lady Rum Punch, the official beverage of the Somebody Said Podcast. You can check out all 87 locations locally here from St. Pete to Georgia. Stop by your nearest convenience store and grab you one. Sip it, drink it, pop it.
Pop it.
Enjoy it.
Pop it. Sip it, drink it.
Bop it.
Spin it.
God, so weird.
Pull it. Also, we're sponsored by Window to Wall Solution, where they build a dream home for a reality price. It looked like it's an up week.
Let's
Still
go.
up.
Let's get this thing crunk.
Anything you want to share with us?
As far as it seems, we are closing on this house on Friday. Everything seems to be teed up. Friday, we should be closing on this house.
Hey, man, shout out to closing.
Hey, cannot take it for granted,
Can't
man.
take it for granted, my boy.
I don't think we're going to close
You
Friday.
got to see it through.
I don't think we close Friday.
Hey, job's not done.
How's it never closing 30 days?
You got to go in with a positive mindset.
Now,
You're closing.
I'm fully expecting to go into next week. But we'll see. I would love to be wrong.
We will see.
You're going off experience, man. Experience is always the best teacher.
We will see.
Window to Wall Solution, where they build a dream home for a reality price. From the trap to the top, they got you.
Love it.
Also, check out our socials. Check out our Instagram at Somebody Said Podcast. Check us out on Twitter at Somebody Said Pod. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Leave a comment, like, share, subscribe at Somebody Said Sports. Also, check out our website. Write an article if you like. Just see what's up there. You could also listen to the show at sspsports.com. And without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the show and kick it off with Chai's mailbag of the week.
Here's the mail, it never fails. It makes me wanna wag my tail. When it comes, I wanna will.
Gosh, these are hard because I think this is better as a conversation than a list of questions. But here goes nothing per child. Pump. You opined for the Bears to keep Justin Fields.
Yep.
How do you feel about the trade and the deal that the Bears made?
Bears football.
You felt like that guy at the beginning of the show.
I did. I do.
Tell people what the trade was.
So the Bears traded Justin Fields for the 2025. It's a conditional 6th-round pick, where if he takes majority of the snaps come this season, that can get bumped up to a 4th-round pick. So they traded Justin Fields for a 4th-round pick.
A bag of Skittles.
Yeah, tropical fruit.
Not tropical.
It's some
It's
Nihilators.
tropical fruit.
Regular
Come on. Let it be tropical fruit.
The regular old
Yeah, the
pack of
regular
Skittles.
degular.
The
Alright,
red
fine.
bag
That
of
nobody
Skittles.
wants.
That's horrible.
Obviously, I have thoughts on this. I feel, again, I think I sent to you guys, a story that's being, floated around. I've mentioned before, it is lying season. It could be a planted story, but at the same time, I feel like there's some truth behind it. The GM at the beginning, before the combine, said that he wanted to do right by Justin Fields. I think Justin knew that he was going to be traded. I think everybody knows that he was going to be traded. I think only people who wanted to keep Justin Fields were under the mindset that, the Bears could keep him. They weren't going to keep him. So to do right by him, he had a list of, the story is that he had a list of teams that he would be willing to go to. So other teams came out and said that, hey, they'll take Justin for XYZ, but they weren't on his conditional list, and the Steelers were. So I guess knowing that, the Steelers are in a position where, cool. If this is just where you want to send him, this is what we're going to give you. And the Bears said, cool. So if they took less to accommodate Justin Fields, then in all honesty, props to the Bears, because you don't see players getting what they want when it comes to trades. That's just what it is. That's the business of the NFL. Now, with that being said, this is my issue with how it all went down. Year one, Justin Fields comes into a situation under a lame duck coach and a lame duck GM. They had no intentions of keeping that coaching staff and that general manager, right? So that's year one of Justin Fields, which for whatever reason, they forced Andy Dalton down our throat, for weeks. The first week that they throw Justin Fields in there is when Andy Dalton gets hurt, and they send him into his first game ever, no max protection against Jadeveon Clowney and Myles Garrett. And
see it.
They come out and sack the man 9 times. That's year one of Justin Fields. Year two, the Bears are in a clear rebuild. They're saying, you know what? We're trading everybody that's good. They trade Roquan. They trade Quinn.
Yep.
They're getting rid of everybody. They're saying, you know what? We want to suck this year. Oh, and Justin Fields, you're our starter.
Yeah. Hey, go out there and win ball games, bro.
And he goes out and has the second best rushing year of any quarterback of all time because he has no help. They clearly said, hey, we're going to suck. And he finds a way to win 3 games. They shouldn't have won any, right? And he has the best year of any running quarterback. Cool. Then year 3 comes around. And they're saying, there's a generational talent out there at quarterback. We're going to trade to get some help. Oh, we'll get DJ Moore. And somehow, some way, Justin Fields finds a way to win 4 more games than he won the previous year.
Almost like it got better.
Oh.
Yeah.
Then in the offseason, they say, we're going to get DeAndre Swift. Oh, we're going to get some offensive line help. Oh, we're going to trade for Keenan Allen. Oh, by the way, Justin,
You gotta go.
You're not going to be any good with help around you. So let's go get the generational talent, the quote unquote generational talent, who's never played a snap.
I'm glad you did air quotes because, like you said, he's never played a NFL snap before. And how successful was he in college? Yeah, you won the Heisman, but you didn't win meaningful games in your career. And I've gone on record saying that it's gonna be a bust. I don't think he's a leader of men, and I think that you look at guys like Keenan Allen that came in saying, "I want to play with Justin." Swift went out and said, "I like Justin Fields." DJ Moore, the relationship that they built. Why would you ship Justin Fields to a different team when there's already continuity being built and guys wanting to play with them? Whereas you look at Caleb Williams, and he's coming in as a diva. We've seen the antics in college. He's gone out there wanting a percentage of the whatever team of the franchise of whatever team drafts him. He's driving around a Ferrari in college. You know, he's already got that persona that I'm bigger than whatever room I'm walking into. So it'll be interesting. It's interesting to see when the Bears do draft him, how will he be able to lead this offense? Because he's talented,
extremely,
but at the same time, you have to mesh well. And I thought that at least give Justin Fields a shot with a good team. And the minute you built the team that he's supposed to have, you ship him off. And I think it's trash.
Yeah, I don't think that they did anything. As the Bears quarterback, they didn't do right by him. Right. In the end, I feel that they did. I honestly do. I do feel they put Justin Fields. If there's one team that I would want to see Justin get traded to, where they have a culture. There's a quote. I forgot what podcast Mike Tomlin was on, but he pretty much called out every NFL coach and said that there's coaches who are afraid to coach. If a guy doesn't fit my system, well, it's the quarterback's fault. Your job is to coach. Your job is to develop. Not just, I need somebody to fit my system. And if they don't fit my system, it's their fault. No, you coach that player up, right?
That's like a little league player. He doesn't fit my system.
100%. So if there's a position that Justin Fields could have gone to, again, we all know what Russell Wilson can and can't be. I think that Justin has a lot of potential to learn under Russell Wilson and Mike Tomlin. I think he's in a great position. Now, the Bears are in a good position, too, to maybe have a quarterback that's better than what we might think he is. Cool. But I know one thing. He's not getting drafted by Carolina. He's not getting drafted by Arizona. This is Chicago. They really love football there. And the city of Chicago really loved Justin Fields.
Right.
And he actually attached himself to that city in 3 years. Like, they loved Justin they would just find Justin Fields around the city just doing random stuff. Like, he attached himself to the culture of Chicago. So if Caleb Williams comes in here and that first game, he's, 13 of 28 with a touchdown and 2 picks, man, it ain't gonna be pretty for him. It's really not.
The Boo Birds.
It's gonna be the Boo Birds. So I don't know, man. It's the Bears. It's the right move, but it's the wrong move at the same time, if that makes sense to me.
It's understandable. We talked about Caleb. Is it Caleb or bust for the Bears?
Silly question.
Yeah, I don't think that's fair.
That's what Chai's asking the question.
No, am I misunderstanding? Like, Caleb or bust? Like, they have to take Caleb number 1. Yes.
Oh yeah,
if that's the question.
Yeah.
Am I misunderstanding the question?
I'm hoping that's the question. Because if it's Drake May, then it's Mitch Trubisky all over again.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. You take Caleb.
Yeah, that's an easy question. Who else do you take at that?
Nobody.
Unless you're trading out of the number 1 spot.
And if they were going to,
I think he mentioned that might be the next question. Like, is there opportunity, or is there
the only way
possibility they trade out?
The only way you trade out the number 1 spot is if you had every intention to keep Justin Fields and then give him more weapons. Draft Alt from Notre Dame or draft Marvin Harrison. At that point, you trade down because you don't need a quarterback anymore, and then you take the best offensive weapon.
His third question is, as it is Lions season, could you see the Bears selecting someone other than Caleb at number 1?
Yeah.
Which were
100%, yeah, because they're stupid.
What?
No, I can see them doing it because they're dumb.
He said,
bro, there's no way.
They have a history of being dumb.
Bro, there's no way, bro.
He says it's Daniels or Harrison at that point.
No.
There's no way.
There's
no way they don't take Caleb
They're
Williams.
99.9% they're taking Caleb Williams.
They've shown their hand.
100% they're taking Caleb.
You trade away
Not
Justin
100.
Fields.
100.
I'm with you.
Yeah, they got to go Caleb.
100%.
100.
Real.
He got it.
I hope this ain't a full Bears bag.
It was real Bearsy up in there. You got to think. So, like, Charles been stirring the pot on this whole thing because as a Commanders fan, he was hoping they somehow finagled their way into getting Caleb.
He's waiting on leftovers.
He's cooked now.
Yeah.
Right now he's completely cooked. Which shout out to Child, our guy. Cook, bro.
They're still in a good position. They could go get Daniels.
They're not getting Caleb. Caleb is the crown jewel of this class. Now,
Can you see them go after Marvin Harrison Jr.?
who's throwing the ball?
And double back
can
on
I see who?
The Commanders.
No. How does that quarterback?
You could get a quarterback in the second round.
Who?
You can get a Bo Nix.
Maybe. Are you willing to risk it? If you are Washington, are you willing to risk Bo Nix being gone, Michael Penix being gone? Because somebody put out a mock draft this week, and they were talking about like 5 quarterbacks going in the first
round.
15.
Yeah.
No, in the first like 15 picks. So like, are
mean,
you willing to roll those dice? There's no way you're willing to roll those
And
dice.
where the Commanders picking?
Isn't it second
Oh,
or
they
third?
don't have a first round pick at all.
Washington's not that. No, he's saying second overall.
Oh, second overall.
Yeah,
Is it that high? Let's see.
I could be wrong.
I think it is second or third, maybe.
NFL draft. Come on.
I mean, they have to take. They're not going to get Caleb. Whoever has the number 1 pick is taking Caleb Williams. So
Oh, they have the second pick.
yeah, that's
so
on the table. It's either Drake or Daniels.
they'll take
JJ.
they'll take Drake May. They drafted Howell. They love North Carolina quarterbacks.
I guess. Which North Carolina quarterbacks, they haven't been that successful. Mid-strip, Howell. Now you got May.
So they're in between picking Jaden Daniels, who could be the next RG3, or they could take Drake May, who could be the next Sam Howell.
That's why they might go Marvin Harrison. You just have to go on with the plan.
Somebody's got to give him. Somebody's got to give him the ball.
All right.
It's the most important position on the field. You got it in this class.
Yeah.
You have to take a quarterback right there, and then New England, in my opinion, would take whoever's left over.
Unless they find a way to trade down to maybe go at that point go after a Bo Nix or Michael Penix, trade down, get more picks, and get one of the lesser
Washington's
quarterbacks.
not doing that,
They're not that
man.
smart.
They finna take a quarterback. They're taking Drake May, bro.
They give him the keys to the city.
Yep.
Yes,
All right.
100%.
DMV Drake.
Overall, has the DMV Drake. I like that. I like
You
that.
cut it out right now.
Overall, has the quarterback carousel this offseason been surprising, impactful, or much ado about nothing?
Much ado about nothing. What quarterback move that's like really gonna like make a big difference?
I'm with you. I'm gonna say surprising just because of what's the better word? Not the love, but just the movement of certain people in certain places. Like the fact that people keep giving Kirk Cousins money.
MVP at the bank.
It's weird. Actually, you know what?
MVP at the bank.
I was thinking about this the other day at Publix. I think we should have an actual MVP at the Bank Hall of Fame. Like I think we need
like
real
that.
criteria.
I like that.
Right, I
I
think we
like
need
that.
some real
That'd be gas.
criteria. I was thinking about one guy, Chase Daniel, who only played like 10. He was a backup his whole life. He only played in like 10 games.
Well, nobody's beating
And
Bobby
banked $100 million.
Bonilla.
Put Bobby in there.
That's what I'm saying. But Chase Daniel made money for not doing anything.
There's another quarterback who has made like an outrageous amount of money, and he's been like mostly a backup his career.
Well, Mitch Tribb is going back to
man.
Buffalo.
It might
No,
be.
not
You
Mitch
sure you're not
Tribb.
thinking about Chase Daniel? Chase made a
I
lot of money recently.
gotta look it up.
Being a career backup.
I feel like you and 12 talk about like he comes up between you and 12. Man,
You're talking about Sam Bradford, aren't you?
yeah, Sam
No.
Bradford.
But at least
Sam
at
Bradford
least
made
he
a
played.
ton of money.
That's the thing, but he actually played snaps.
Like not like real, like not for real,
yeah.
not
He
relative
didn't
to the
do
amount of
anything.
money he's made.
He was. I guarantee he played more games than Chase Daniel.
We have to come up
We
with
gotta figure this out.
We got to come up with a ratio of production to money made. The fact, like Sam Bradford is
Tons of
also MVP at the bank.
Oh, 100%.
You know the thing that gets me, and I didn't realize this. Women love Kirk Cousins. I didn't know that. So I'm at work,
What?
bro.
Random.
Bro, so he did because you remember they did the quarterback thing last year, and he was one of the quarterbacks on it. So apparently, because he's like family guy, real cool off, you know, tucking the kids in the bed, and he shops at Costco. He doesn't really spend money. Like apparently, a lot of women got on the Kirk Cousins train. So I'm at work, and it comes up. We're all eating lunch, and Kirk Cousins comes up. Someone says, "Oh, Kirk Cousins going to Atlanta." And just as I was about to start to slander him, a couple of my teammates at work were like, "Oh, we love Kirk Cousins." I was like, "Oh."
Listen,
You should have still went ahead and slandered him.
Well, somebody else came along who didn't care about the fact that they like Kirk, and he started slandering, and then I started
I
slandering.
know this is totally going off the rails, but honestly, black women love Russell Wilson for those same reasons.
Love Russell
Well,
Wilson.
he's a total gentleman to black women.
This is what I'm.
He's a
And
jerk to his teammates, though.
but
he's
he
a
also
gentleman to
steps
his
up
wife.
and
That's-
takes care of his kids.
No, he
even
does.
his
He
stepkids,
seems to
right?
be a great
Like,
family man.
Black women will not let you slander Russell Wilson.
No,
as
not at all.
much of a cornball as we may think he is, and a douchebag.
Even though he dated a white woman before Sierra, they
completely
disregarded
given,
that.
they've completely. He's amended those.
They've expunged that from his record.
No, legit.
Sweep it right under the rug.
Yeah, no, they don't remember that. Nah. So so those two
Hey man,
are like women's favorites. If you're black women, Russ. White women, Kirk Cousins.
Makes sense. I'm with you, Pump. It's super surprising. All these backups are still getting jobs. Like Mac Jones went to the Jags to back up Trevor Lawrence. He got drafted 3 years ago in the first round.
Who, Mac?
Yeah,
His boy?
yeah, his boy,
His guy?
this guy,
that was
Big
my
Mac?
guy. That was my guy.
Yeah,
that was my guy.
Oh, Big Mac, huh?
That was my guy. Sam Darnold is still getting
right.
jobs.
Oh, Big Mac, huh?
Hey man,
That's his man.
that's what we doing.
Hey, his guy?
That's what we doing right now.
Yeah.
You rode that Mac Jones train for like 2 seasons.
I like Lego Man Mac. I like Lego
Bro,
Man Mac.
why,
Nothing
bro?
about him.
He was never good.
I never said he was good.
No, you cape for him though. So if
You
you don't
did.
think he's good, then why would you caping for the man?
What did you see in him?
To be 100% honest with you, I believed in the. So going back to my whole Mike Tomlin thing, I believed in the position that he was in the organization that he was at. So if I'm thinking that any organization, any coach could help somebody with minimal talent get better, it would be the Patriots and Bill Belichick.
Okay,
All right,
so it's more about Bill than
It was more about
Big
Bill
Mac.
than.
but you
than
never
that.
said that
Big
until
Mac.
now.
Nah, he
I think I always gave you reasons why I believed that he was going to be okay.
but it led to caping for him.
Did I cape for
Standing,
him?
you did because you was staying by. Well, he did this and look
I mean,
at
he
it. I'm like,
did.
bro, he's bunsy.
He won at Bama.
Bro,
He did.
He's bunsy, bro.
Come on, man.
But guys like Marcus Mariota, Mitch Tribb, Drew Lock, Jameis is going to the Browns. Josh
James
Dobbs
is a good locker room guy.
He is.
is.
Gotta love that guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you hate it, and that's why Justin Fields, he may not be successful because sometimes when young quarterback they get damaged early on, you can end up like a Jameis and you become a journeyman. So hopefully,
Was Jameis damaged early on?
he had like 4 offensive coordinators.
Yeah, but Jameis' problem was turning the ball over, which he had that problem in college.
He did.
He had that problem in college in year 2. And when you go to the NFL and you don't have any consistency, that problem becomes bigger.
Yeah, but it wasn't like a new problem arose. Like I don't look at Justin Fields and I'm like, he still can't do this, which is the same thing he couldn't do in college.
Yeah.
I think he just hasn't had good talent around him, and he's at an organization they can't get out their own way. I don't think he's been. It doesn't seem he's been ruined. I don't think Jameis was ruined either. I think Jameis, what he's always been. He'll throw 30 touchdowns and 30 picks. That's kind of who he is.
He's a gunslinger.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, hopefully Justin Fields, he stays in Pittsburgh. Mike Tomlin is definitely the right guy.
Well,
for
you
him.
know they gonna win 10 games regardless. Whether he's
My dog
terrible
gonna
or
beat his
stink-
quota.
Hey,
It
listen,
doesn't matter.
I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm low key rooting for the Steelers next season.
I'm mad at it.
I'm with that.
They need receivers though.
All right, bonus bag. Clemson filed a similar suit today as FSU did against the ACC. What are the chances that the ACC winds up going the way of the Pac-12? Breeze, you're Pac-12 Breeze. You are college football purist, as I always say. What are your thoughts?
Oh, it's coming. When it's coming, I'm not sure. But it is coming, absolutely.
NFC, AFC?
I mean,
You've been saying this
I've
for
been
years.
saying this for some years now. It's absolutely coming. The ACC, they'll continue to hold on. The ACC is a microcosm of the NCAA in totality. The NCAA sees where something's going. They can find ways to ingratiate themselves and make sure that they're part of that future projection or that future state of college football, and yet they continue to, kick against the goad and push against it, which just means that they're going to be completely run over at some point. And the ACC is doing the same thing. They see where things are going. Two of your biggest brands have now taken legal action to try to get away from you. And instead of you saying, how do I find a way to make this better? How do I find a way to say, let me appease this and drag this on in a good way for as long as possible to avoid the inevitable? You're like, no, I'm a kick against the goad and I'm going to counter sue them. It's like, okay, you can do that, but you're spending the last bit of money that you're ever going to get, because at the end of the day, the SEC and the Big Ten are still going to somehow find a way to take your biggest brands and you'll just collapse. So it's coming. It's a matter of when, not if. And I feel like it's on the precipice. Like we are right there, and it could be 2 years, it could be 3 years. It won't take to 2036.
And it won't. It's the right teams that's leading the charge, because some teams are bigger than conferences, and I think Florida State is bigger than the ACC, and I think Miami's just going to tag on along, and then now the floodgates are just going to open up.
Yeah, I think for me it was always one of these teams had to do it, and the only other team that I feel like could have held weight in this was going to be North Carolina, strictly because of basketball, but that still right now doesn't move the needle. Yeah, especially not North Carolina basketball right now, than football would. It had to be Clemson. If anybody else was going to join this fight with Florida State, it had to be Clemson. Yeah, because that's the ACC's other biggest cash cow. And I'm looking here where, on Tuesday, the CFP and ESPN just announced a new 6-year, $7.8 billion deal, right? And it just widens the gap now between what SEC and Big Ten teams get and then everybody else, right? So under this new deal, SEC and Big Ten teams are getting $21 million a year. ACC teams get 13.
Sheesh.
There's no reason why a school like Clemson or a school like Florida State that are in this era perennial teams that are up there with the rest of these people, right? Clemson's won some natties. Florida State has built themselves back up to where now they're a contender again. Why is there a almost $10 million gap between Florida State and Florida? And Florida's trash, right? Why is Auburn getting more than Clemson?
Your argument, I think, is like Vanderbilt.
Why is Vanderbilt getting more money for football? Now, again, for football than somebody like Florida State University. That doesn't make any sense. Yeah. Bama, LSU, Georgia, cool, good argument. The rest of these bums in the SEC, no argument at all.
Right, and I'm Clemson and I'm beating Ohio State and Bama. Why am I not getting compensated as those teams?
So again, I feel like, and I thought that once another team gets in there and it had to be Clemson, that I don't know where. I do feel somewhere behind the scenes, whether it be SEC, Big Ten, somebody has a wink, wink, nudge, nudge deal. Because there's no reason you put yourselves out there with no landing spot.
Right.
I think that's there.
Because I disagree. Because even if you get the right to leave, doesn't mean you have to. Right? Like you're fighting them, right? So right now, Florida State and Clemson have made it clear that we are not on the same page with the ACC. We're very okay leaving. We're going to force your hand in some form or fashion. You're still going to play in their conference this year, probably next year, right? Until something actually happens and they can leave. So you could get the rights to leave and not leave. It's more so about having the ability to do something.
That's never going to happen. Just for the dollar amount. In this age of college football, the dollars matter. So they're not going to do this and not leave.
But you have to... And I don't know for a certainty that the backdoor deals are done yet. And I don't think any of us will know, right? Unless you ask Greg Sankey or you ask, I forget who the commissioner of the Big Ten is. I don't know that stuff is completely a done deal. I think the biggest player in here, and I'll continue to bring this up, I've said it before, the biggest player is ESPN. ESPN owns the ACC deal. They own the SEC deal. They know that Fox is their biggest competition, and Fox owns Big Ten. They have the ability to pull one lever and literally just squash this whole ACC thing and say, Florida State and Clemson, go do y'all thing. Slide on over here to the SEC or whatever you want to be.
Right.
That is the biggest player. And once they decide that, okay, let's do it, and they've figured all that other stuff out in the back end, I think it'll happen. It'll happen then. But ESPN at some point is also going to have to be willing to pull the trigger because they're putting a lot of money into that CFP, like you just mentioned, that brand new deal. Obviously, the SEC signed their new contract with them a couple of years ago. They were very much involved in the Oklahoma Texas move. So that's the bigger player who isn't saying anything. It's almost like the TV villain versus like the real villain. The real villain in this is ESPN, and everybody's kind of losing focus on that.
ESPN is Dr. Claw.
Yeah.
So is there anything that the ACC could do to salvage this, or it's pretty much out of
salvage?
Because two of your big dogs are leaving.
Lay down.
Just take it.
At some point, the ABA just said, "Okay, NBA,
have it."
At some point, they said, "Okay, hey, you know what? 4 of our teams we'll move over. We'll take a payout," and they just laid down.
And I think that's what this is right now. I think they know that the writing's on the wall.
100%.
Somehow, some way,
trying to string it out much.
At this point, I feel like they're trying to figure out, okay, this is coming. How can we get the most money that we can at the end of the day?
Even though the one saving grace could be them trying to go the Big 12 route and try to just pull a bunch of. So so let's say, hey, look, we know Florida State, Clemson's, maybe Miami,
go get North
Carolina are gone. They're not getting Notre Dame.
I'm saying you could go that route. Try to go that route.
No, you can't go that route. But can you go get like some of those teams that joined the Big 12? Can you go get UCF? Or maybe a USF. Like, can you start grabbing a bunch of these second-tier teams?
Yeah. Go get Colorado, Deion.
Right. So can you go get a bunch of those second-tier teams or maybe third-tier teams, and you just build it with just this really big conference?
Essentially, what they already did by bringing in like SMU and Cal and Stanford.
So they're starting to do something.
I think you continue to do that, and then that way you'll continue to exist. Obviously, you will be playing at a different level of ball than the SEC and Big Ten, but you're already doing that anyway.
Right.
But you can stay alive that way. So it could be that they're buying time to do more of that, knowing that Florida State and a couple other brands are going to leave, and we'll just be doing that. So when you guys do leave, we have replaced you guys with 6, 7 other teams, and now we can remain as a conference.
Okay. Well, screw the ACC.
I'm cool with it.
And speaking of Florida State, the bags, that's all Chai had for the bag. But speaking of Florida State, spring practice did start today. Being pumped, we're talking off air, and we're thinking 13-0.
Talk me off the ledge.
Talk us off the ledge.
It's March.
I know.
Talk me off the ledge.
They're bigger and faster.
Bigger, faster, stronger.
But yeah, first day of practice started today.
Climb.
Let's just climb. Without further ado, let's take a quick break and we'll jump into some madness. Fellas.
Man, every time.
Dress it up and make it real for me.
Man, that beat every
Never
time.
gets old.
It's that time of year again, fellas. The tickets have been punched. The brackets are set. The most entertaining brand of basketball happens in March. College basketball March Madness. Can UConn defend their title? Will Purdue not just fall over on their face this year? Will there be a Cinderella run? There's 8 SEC teams in the tournament. What do we make of that? It's a lot to talk about. Let the madness begin. First thing,
Madness.
Madness.
I did tell y'all it was lying season, and I totally lied. I'm gonna do my bracket.
You lot.
Wait, you said you weren't going to do a bracket?
Yeah, remember I was like,
have to.
I'm not entertained with college
Everybody's
basketball
gonna do a
this year.
bracket,
I'm not gonna
bro.
do a bracket.
You have to.
Listen, I was watching Northwestern on Friday. I'm like, Yeah, I'm doing a bracket.
Of course you're gonna do
You
a bracket.
feel the excitement.
Yeah, of course.
It's gonna be a bunch of buzzer beaters, half court shots.
It was some
You
good
never
basketball
know, man.
played
It's
on Friday.
great basketball.
I have a theoretical question to ask you guys at the end of this.
Okay.
Okay. Well, let's just kick it off with some bold predictions. 10 of them. First one. Purdue falters again, and Matt Painter is out of a job. Are you guys with that or no?
Do I have to take both? Can I take one of the two? Do I have to take
However you
both?
want to go.
Yeah, I can see Purdue losing, 100%.
Is it losing late or early?
Earlier than they should. They're 1 seed, right? Which means you are one of the top 4 teams in the country. They were the number 4 overall, right? Because I think North Carolina was number 4 overall.
No, yeah, North Carolina was
Yeah,
number 4.
Carolina.
Purdue was number 3 overall. I know UConn was 1.
Yeah, Purdue was
Houston
3.
Yeah.
Purdue was 3rd overall. Yeah. Not making the Final Four is a failure. And I don't think they make the Final Four. I don't know if I'm tipping my hand on my bracket or whatever, but
Kind of are.
so be it.
Okay.
I mean, yeah. So I don't know if that means in the coach getting fired. I don't know if making the Elite 8 and losing on a close game gets him fired. I don't know that part.
I think if they make it as far as the Final Four, he doesn't get fired. But if you lose in the second round, you're out of there. You're on the hot seat. You were one of the favorites to win it last year, and you lost in the first round. You got to go. You got to make a run.
In the 3rd round, the Sweet 16, they could be playing Gonzaga or Kansas. Now, Kansas has injuries,
You're right.
so we don't know what Kansas are going to be, but Gonzaga's a veteran team. Nembhard came back. They've got some size. Is it far-fetched that they lose to Gonzaga? I don't think so.
It could happen.
I mean, who did they just lose to in the championship? Wisconsin?
Yeah, I think they lost to Wisconsin. Big Cheese.
Big cheese. Are they too dependent on Zach Edey? Like,
Yes.
is there any? If Zach Edey doesn't have a 28-12 game, is there anybody else that you depend on as a secondary scorer? Which we know in March Madness you can ride the wave on one guy, but to me, good teams are very balanced, which might pop into something we talk about a little later. I was thinking about Houston and how they look good on Friday and then just went to crap on Saturday, I guess. But if there's anybody there as a secondary scorer, who do you depend on? And if they don't have that, then it's Edey or bust.
This is my concern. Zach Edey averages 24.4 points per game on the season.
Mm-hmm.
The second scorer, Braden Smith, 12.5. That's half. Half.
But this time of year, it's about a veteran team that's been there before and been through it. So
I disagree.
all you got to do is get hot, win 5 games.
It's about the team that can get hot. Who's getting hot? Braden Smith, who averages 12.5 points per game. Now, in their defense, I will give them. Braden is shooting 44% from 3, 45% from 3.
Yeah.
He can get hot.
Fletcher Lawyer shooting 44% from 3. So the games they won last year, if you look back at them, yeah, Edey got his, but the shooters around him in the games that they won showed up. And when those shooters didn't show up and teams were just like, hey, we're just not going to let Zach Edey give us 40, that's when they end up losing. So somebody could show up. These guys could, but am I banking on it?
And to your point, against Wisconsin, Smith shot 3 for 10. So if he's not there, all right, cool. Zach Edey went 7 for 11. He dropped his 28. He did his job. The next highest scorer on that game scored 9 points.
And that's what you can't have. That's how you end up losing before you're supposed to be.
Well, all right, let's keep it moving. Bold prediction number 2. Kansas get bounced in the first round. Breeze, you mentioned the injuries. Dickerson, he probably won't play. And Kansas, they haven't been the same Kansas team that we've seen in previous years. Many people are saying that they got Samford in the first round, who's a good defensive team, and they could make a Cinderella run, so to speak. Do you think they get bounced early?
I think he was asking you.
Is that for me? Well, I answered first last time. I usually try to not.
Whoever.
I don't think they lose first round though. This is still Kansas, and they do have depth. They have enough talent. I think they can get by Sanford. It might not be pretty.
Okay.
It might be an ugly win, but, I think they'll be able to get past Sanford even with the injuries.
Okay. Without their 2 stars, apparently Kevin McCullough
Kevin
Jr.,
McCullough's out.
He's out as well.
Dickinson's iffy, but, it's Sanford. It's still Kansas and it's still Sanford.
All right.
It's kind of where I'm at. I don't see anybody. Sanford's not one of those mid-major teams where they have a guy who is like, hey, yo, like he's not Asmus. Remember Asmus would get into the tournament and they win a couple of games because he would just go crazy.
Drop 30. Yeah.
I don't think Sanford's got that guy.
Okay.
But do you feel Kansas is that deep that without their 2 best players, they can just beat anybody?
It's Kansas.
No,
They recruit
anybody. No,
But
not
they,
anybody.
but they can beat Sanford.
I think they beat
Just
Sanford.
because of the recruiting history. I'm sure they have a 5-star that's on the bench.
Okay.
So I don't think they'll get bounced first round.
Yeah, we gonna find out.
Bold prediction number 3. Multiple double-digit seeded teams make the Sweet 16.
Multiple double-digit teams, so 2.
Yeah.
Let me go through this bracket.
Did you catch him?
Yeah, Palmetto Bug.
Oh, nice. Can multiple double-digit teams make it? I'm kind of
Sweet 16.
Yeah, I'm going through this bracket right now. I'm trying to see who some of these guys are actually matched up against. Like I'm not taking any double-digit team to beat an SEC team.
Can they or will they? What are we asking?
Will they?
Will they?
Can I see 2 double-digit teams make the Sweet 16? You said 2? I just need 2 to do it.
At least 2.
I'll take 2.
Who we got?
I'm gonna say yes. 2 can do it.
Are you asking who those 2 might be?
We don't have to name 2.
If I'm going with 2, if I say 2 can do it, NC State's hot, and they have a big man who can dominate the game. We just saw them win the ACC tournament.
They're comparing him to Zach Randolph.
So Burns, if Burns is scoring the ball, really it's that point guard. If the point guard is playing well, NC State can surprise some people. And then, I don't know, Pump, if you had one.
I got Nevada. I think I had Nevada last year too.
Yeah.
I think you were
Yes,
on
you
that
did.
Nevada train.
I think I was on that Nevada train last year.
Back on it?
I'm back on. I mean, I also don't think that it's that huge of a stretch. I mean, it's not like they're 15 or something. They're number 10. They go up against Dayton. Now they do. If they win that game, they do have to play Arizona.
I don't like that for
I
him.
don't like that for them either.
I'm going with Oregon. I think Oregon's got a shot. So Oregon, one of their better players, only played 20 games this year.
You see them getting past Carolina and Creighton.
I can see it. I'm not afraid of Creighton. I think Creighton's a solid team, but I'm not afraid of Creighton. And again, sometimes it's about talent. I think Oregon has recruited a little bit better than most people probably pay attention to. And again, one of their better players wasn't there for the majority of the year. So can he come back and, catch his stride right now in the postseason? And all of a sudden you look up and it's like, snap, Oregon beat South Carolina, who just laid an egg in the SEC tournament.
And Oregon also won their conference tournament. So
Correct. So it's about getting hot at the right time.
Right.
And then Creighton, who does Creighton really play all year? Like, for real. Like, we like looking at Creighton's schedule and like, man, they really went through it. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I'm afraid of Creighton. I think Creighton's a solid team, but am I looking at Creighton and just thinking like, I don't know, them boys really.
They made a good. What did they get? Elite 8 last year.
Creighton?
I feel like Creighton made it. I know they made Sweet 16.
Nah, I don't think they went that far.
I feel like Creighton made a decent run last year.
I think Creighton right now is riding the fact that they played in a Big East that wasn't that tough. They got a win against UConn, a very convincing win against UConn. I'll give them that at home later in the season. And then they also get a win against Marquette, who I don't think is all that special either. And that's how they've gotten their 3 seed. I'm not wowed by Creighton, and I think Creighton can be beaten.
Okay.
So that's kind of how I'm like, I could see Oregon doing it.
All right, let's move on. And I'm gonna cut this list short because I feel like it's kind of drawn out.
Yeah, I didn't. We're getting a lot of fodder over these.
Yeah, I'm
We're
gonna
gonna
cut it
just jump
short.
to the top 5.
Yeah, 2 more. All right. So will we get a first time Final Four team this year?
Oh, I don't know what teams have never been in the Final Four to answer that.
Okay.
No, really, I don't.
Like a Alabama.
Alabama's never been in the Final Four?
Not to my knowledge. Tennessee, BYU,
Yes.
St. Mary.
Wait, Tennessee has never been in the Final Four. That cannot be right. Tennessee's never been in a
Yeah,
Final
I got
Four?
the list right here. There are several great candidates to do so.
That's kind of wild.
Most
That
notably,
team with Admiral Schofield
Nope.
and really, they didn't make a Final
so
Four?
the list that I have is Alabama, Tennessee, BYU, St. Mary's, and Creighton.
I can see Tennessee doing it. If Dalton necked,
Man, I'm on that train, and that train is going left.
he let you down in the
Let me
SEC
down.
tournament, but I can see it.
All right, last one. With the 8 SEC teams that I mentioned, do any of them make it to the Final Four, or they all get shut out?
Who's all in there?
We can-
Auburn, Bama, Tennessee.
South Carolina, Kentucky, Florida.
Do any of them make it to the Final Four?
I feel like it. Oh, go ahead.
Just looking at the layout, I feel like Auburn has a shot.
I think only 3 of them have a chance.
Tennessee,
Yep.
Kentucky,
Yep.
and I like South Carolina.
Auburn.
Auburn's pretty
Because
good.
again, it's about getting hot at the right time. They just won the SEC tournament. You know, if they're hot right now, okay, cool. Bruce Pearl, been around forever.
Had my man out there in tears.
So those are the 3 that I think have a legitimate shot. I don't believe in Bama, especially. I mean, I feel like Bama had a better team. What was it, 2 years ago?
Is Avery
They
Johnson
fell
still
short?
there?
I don't remember.
Yeah, I'm not saying Tennessee and South Carolina, if they might have to match up in the Sweet 16 before they even get there. So one of them is going to beat the other if they even get that far.
Okay.
And according to Breeze, South Carolina ain't going to get there. They're going to beat by Oregon.
I said that I could see it.
They're going to get beat by Oregon.
There you
Pac-12
go.
Breeze at its finest.
Hey,
You gonna stick with it?
hey,
Be true to yourself.
hey.
All right, so that's all I have for bowl predictions. Quickly, around the horn, winners and losers as far as the brackets. I'll start. I got UNC Pump as a winner.
Sure.
They're in a part in the bracket where it's an easy road. They have a number 16 out the
Wagner.
gates.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got to get either Mississippi State or Michigan State after that. So I could see them traveling to at least the Elite 8.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if they got beat by Michigan State.
They have the talent to go through that kind of schedule easily.
Oh, 100%. Listen, if RJ Davis is playing some good ball, then yeah, North Carolina still has talent.
And then Baycott, he's not easy to handle down low. So if he's going, the offense runs through
If
him.
they're playing good ball, North Carolina is a good team, but can they consistently do it? I don't trust them to do it.
Well, I think they got an easy path to at least in the Elite 8.
It sounds good. I hope so. I hope so.
Okay. Losers, Auburn.
Auburn?
Auburn, yeah. So not only you win your conference, kudos, right? High fives all around. What's your gift? They stick you in the East with UConn as the 1 seed. Iowa State is the 2 seed, who also won their conference, and Illinois,
Don't sleep on Illinois.
who won their conference, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and your first game is in Spokane, Washington. That's your gift for winning the SEC. They were better off losing that game, getting a lesser seed in a better region, probably playing maybe a little bit closer to home, as opposed to getting stuck in that East bracket, that East region, and having to go to Washington, the state of Washington, not DC, to play your first game against Yale, who gets in on a buzzer beater to win the Ivy League. That's your gift, bro, for winning your conference?
I was gonna say you could actually pick a loser out of that seeding, because I was gonna go Iowa State. They also win their conference championship, and they get the number 2 seed, and they have to play they got Auburn, they got UConn.
Illinois is on the bottom half of that bracket.
So you could pick anyone out of that bracket.
I will say though, because Iowa State at the very least, they get South Dakota State, and then they get the winner of Washington State and Drake. To me, those are 2 layups. So your first time really seeing some competition is probably going to be the Sweet 16, where maybe you're playing Illinois. I'm assuming either Illinois or BYU, which again, you'll be favored. I think Iowa State's a pretty good team. Illinois is good as well. Mm-hmm. It's tough. It's definitely the toughest region. It's the only region with 4 conference champions in it. Because didn't UConn also win theirs?
Yep.
Yeah. So it's the only region with 4 conference champions in it. So it's just a really, really tough region all around. And like, man, for Auburn though, like, bro, Spokane, Washington? We gotta go play in Spokane? I'm in the East region, B.
Take what you get.
Pump, you got a winner or loser?
Let me roll through here. I think for the same reasons that Breeze just gave. Again, I think you put Creighton in a tough spot. Creighton is going to sit here. They have to either play Breeze's pick in Oregon or South Carolina.
Yeah, we're attaching that to you.
That's crazy how y'all just decide.
Or you got Tennessee. Like, you could be bounced within the second round. You might even make Sweet 16 if you're Creighton. I like Creighton. Creighton made what they make Sweet 16, Elite 8 last year.
Yeah, they made a little run.
They made a pretty good
run.
run.
Sweet 16.
I think they're in a tough spot. I think that who does Purdue have to play in the second round?
Second round, they're looking at either TCU or Utah State.
Nah, they're good on that.
Yes.
Yeah,
they don't face danger until they get to the Sweet 16. They're probably playing either Gonzaga or Kansas.
Yeah, if I have to go off of just pick something else from what Breeze is doing, give me Creighton, because I think Creighton could make a run, but I don't know if they can do it in that bracket, in that other bracket.
Okay. Finally, give me 3 Cinderella stories.
3 of them?
Well,
3 Cinderellas?
1 from each of us.
Okay.
Who you got?
Loyola. I'm always going with the old lady.
I think she's dead.
Is she?
Sister Jean?
That's wild,
yeah,
bro.
I think Sister Jean is
I'm
dead.
riding Sister Jean. No pause.
I mean,
the memory of her?
I mean, I don't know. It's hard to pick a Cinderella story. I think Sanford, I'm hearing a lot of talks about them.
Never mind. Sister Jean's still alive.
Yeah.
Damn.
So I'll go with Loyola or Sanford.
Lay's 104 years old.
Hell, I'll go with Duke because we're looking like a Cinderella story.
Stop it. A 4 seed can't be a Cinderella.
Are we going to have a repeat of last year where you just have every team that you expect to make it kind of make it?
That's what it's looking like.
It could be anything. It really could be anything.
Because like we've said throughout the season, there's not one team or one player that stands out. It's kind of a level playing field. So none of the number 1 seeds might not make it to the Final Four. And I don't think it would be that surprising.
No, nothing would be surprising.
Well, FAU was the biggest Cinderella last year, right? They made a Final Four.
Yeah.
And they pissed down their leg.
And Miami. Miami was also a Cinderella, I believe.
It's hard to see a 5 seed as a Cinderella.
Can an 8 seed be a Cinderella?
No.
No, it's not far enough down.
Yeah, I'm going 9 or better. It's got to be 9 or higher.
9 or better.
Yeah, so Florida Atlantic was a 9 seed last year. They made a Final Four. Princeton was a 15 seed and made it Elite 8 last year.
All right. So if I got to go with a higher seed than that Cinderella story, to give me McNeese State. First of all, shout out to my little cousin.
Okay.
Big Red plays football for McNeese State, wide receiver.
Big Red.
I'm going with McNeese State. So first of all, Will Wade is their coach. I don't know if that name sounds familiar to you guys.
Got nothing for you.
Used to be at LSU. No, Will Wade.
Oh.
He was a head coach at LSU, and then they started getting into some stuff, and he had a 10-game suspension to start the year. You guys remember Will Wade?
No.
Okay. So Will Wade is the coach. He dropped a somewhat infamous Willie the Kid is Free video
I like it already.
Earlier in the year. No, but they got a kid, Shahada Wells. Just real quick, his numbers. He started at junior college, went to UT Arlington, went to TCU. He's now at McNeese State. He's averaging 18 points per game, 50% shooting from 2, 40% from 3, 3 steals, and he's 5th in the country in defensive rating at 87.9. So if Shahada Wells can crank that thing up and like turn up for real in the thing, I wouldn't be surprised if like people are like, yo, who is this kid at McNeese State?
Okay.
I can see that. It always comes down to a team that has a star.
You have to have a star.
That's the only way you're gonna make a deep run.
Correct. Unless your team as a team is just super crazy elite, you gotta have a star.
Yeah, Davidson in 08 had Steph. They made it to the Elite 8. So
Jimmer,
you gotta,
Melo.
Right.
Which that team was good, but Melo, like, come on, let's be honest.
Right.
So
Wait, was Johnny Flynn not on that? That wasn't.
no, that wasn't Johnny Flynn. It was
Syracuse.
McNamara?
Was it McNamara or Davenport?
I want to say McNamara was on that team with Melo.
Might have been Cade McNamara.
Okay.
All right, fellas. That's all I have for March Madness this week. We gotta watch all the games.
I will be watching a lot of. I am bringing an iPad to work.
Nice.
Make sure I can have the games going.
Why not?
This is one of the cool things about working in sports is it's like expected that everybody will be watching major sports events. Apparently,
That's dope.
I'm cool with
it's
that.
actually pretty. Yeah, I'm pretty excited.
I remember around this time at my last place of employment, they used to put the games on the TVs
on
in
the
there.
TVs.
Yeah.
You should invite Steven from the first floor up to watch the game.
I don't know who that is.
Stammer.
Yeah. Steven from the first floor? Come on, man.
Steven, is that what y'all call it?
Yeah,
now?
Steven from the first floor.
I'm thinking that you guys are on first name basis.
Jeez.
That's funny. That's funny. I got a story to tell y'all about that later. So just hypothetical question, right? Because we're looking at college football playoff expansion, and they want as many teams as possible. And you look at what March Madness is. We all agree that March Madness is one of the best postseasons in all the sports. I think most people probably say it is like a lot of people say it's the best postseason in all the sports.
Agreed.
Right? Would you all be willing to sacrifice every Saturday, meaning what it does in college football, to have one of the best postseasons in all the sports? That's essentially what college basketball has done. Nobody watches in November anymore. Nobody watches in January anymore. Some people will start watching in conference tournament time. Some people will watch Duke versus North Carolina, but not more people who watch LSU women versus South Carolina women, according to the statistics. Would you be willing to make that trade-off?
No. Because I think the games are more meaningful in college football.
Correct.
Like week to week, they're like anything could happen. You got rivalry week.
Yeah.
In college football, it's just a lot waning on these games in college football to give up a Saturday for the end of the year, essentially. Like you're from the first game of the season to the end of the season, it's a big game every week, essentially. Mm-hmm. So why would you give that up for just one moment? Okay. When you could have a bigger serving size?
I mean, this is a month.
Yeah, but I like my college football the whole season.
Okay.
I can see the opposite of that, because right now, you're right. That's what we remember of college football. From this point going forward, it's really not going to be that. You can
no.
Okay,
you don't have to take it like because of where it is. Would you be willing to make that trade off?
Are you giving up Miami and Florida State on a Saturday for the playoffs?
Those games will still play,
but you're not.
You don't care as much. So would you be willing to sacrifice the pins and needles of every Saturday in college football, which ends up in a?
Think about the build up towards Saturday. You wake up in the morning, and that's
why.
Breakfast.
Yeah, that's why. The answer is
day.
no, just because I have to wait a full week to consume that again.
Okay.
Where in basketball, I can watch a game on Monday, then they're off Tuesday, and then they play Wednesday and Thursday. All right, cool. That's
a good point.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like I get more, and it's not always really good.
But you get the best postseason in all the sports.
I gotta go with football. Football is king.
Which, sidebar, I made that argument some years ago when Duke lost a game that it doesn't mean as much because they play so many games and they lose a lot more. You guys were like, not you. You and 12 were like, yeah, whatever, bro. I literally made that argument years ago, and you scoffed at
Were we
it.
talking about
And you held
Duke and
on to it?
Carolina?
No, Duke had like lost a game, or I think they had lost like in a tournament or something like that, and you guys were like, "Oh, you're not upset about it?" I'm like, they lose a lot.
Whoa. No. Yes, because it was a tournament game, not a regular game on March 1st.
But I see them lose a lot.
Yeah, but
They lose a lot.
But to your point, we're talking about the tournament.
Okay. You made my argument though.
No, I didn't. Those are two totally different things.
Okay.
You realize they're two totally different things.
They're really not.
Well, one, you don't play anymore. The other one,
Until the next season. But again,
right, the next season, not the next week.
but you see them lose so often.
That actually wasn't our point. But if you want it, you can have it.
I'm taking it. Pause.
You shouldn't, but you can have it if you want to.
Big pause.
A huge pause. Are we done? Right. We haven't done this in a while. It's actually been a long while.
Push the button.
You gotta find
All
it.
right, fine.
I completely understand the questions that are going to come.
I just want to ask you one question.
I know that these questions could go on and on each and every day.
I just want to ask you one question.
Is that a real question? What you want me to say to
I
that?
just want to ask you one question.
Why you gotta be so negative? How you think about that? Come on, bro. You should ask
I
questions.
just want to ask you
Well, that's a great question.
one question.
Is Kyrie the most skilled player of all time? Skilled. You guys are pondering really hard on this one.
Well, I'm just
All right, just start naming skilled players.
well, I'm
of
just
all
wondering
time.
what
Just
all it
speed.
encompasses. That's all.
Dribbling, shoot, the basics.
Everything. I'm going to say I don't think there's a wrong answer.
Okay,
Which is maybe a cop out.
it is.
So I think it's a personal thing. It's almost like the GOAT conversation. It's personal. So personally, I'm going to say no. Because I don't think Kyrie does anything like an Allen Iverson didn't do. Like, I think Allen Iverson was just as skilled as Kyrie.
I also think
Allen
that,
wouldn't agree with that. He's gone on record saying Kyrie is more skilled than him.
Well, which is fine. And shout out to him showing that love. But I'm a consumer. I get
to be perfectly honest, for somebody that was as big as he is, I think that Hakeem Olajuwon's skill set was amazing.
Very
he
underrated
had
as well.
handles. He had footwork. He
yeah.
had a shot. Like Hakeem at 7, kind of does his
Magic skill sets.
handles.
He's not a good shooter.
Handle wasn't the same.
Could shoot. He didn't play in an era where you did shoot.
I'm saying
Magic could shoot.
he didn't have as much in his bag as a Kyrie though.
I think the game was very different. Like, or was he limited to the era in which he played? Like, if Magic plays in this era,
He would have to develop those skills.
does he do those things, or is he Ben Simmons? I'm gonna say he probably does those things.
You think so?
I think a Pistol Pete is up there.
Yeah.
Which I feel like this is now like 3 weeks straight. I've been ringing the Pistol Pete bell.
You can ring it.
Go back and watch the
I
film.
have to go back and watch.
Please, like anybody listening to this, please go watch Pistol Pete film. Like, go listen to people talk about Pistol Pete Maravich. He did a lot of stuff that nobody was doing. And so for me, I'm gonna say I think Kyrie's up there, 100%.
Yeah.
Top 5.
I think top 3. I'm very okay saying top 3. And if he's your number 1, I'm okay with it.
I was going to follow up and ask, are we being prisoners of the moment? Because you saw the one-legged hook shot with your left hand to beat the Mavericks. Are people just being prisoners of the moment? And even like NBA players, they're coming out and saying it. So when your peers are starting to say it, you got to kind of respect it.
Again, I kind of feel like I've seen similar people say the same thing about a prime Derrick Rose. His skill set, his speed, the strength, the handle, the power, all that stuff is like, yeah, it was a flash. You saw it, and then you didn't see it no more. But Kyrie, you've been able to see it for how many years now? Tons of years. So yeah, maybe it could just be a prisoner of the moment, just like our Instagram page right now.
It's a bunch of wimbies.
Prisoner of the moment.
Prisoner of the moment. But
Yeah, he's definitely up there. And if he's somebody else's number 1, I'm fine with it. I don't think it's ridiculous.
Yeah, he's
to say that
definitely
number 1.
top 5.
he's, I mean, I grew up watching Isaiah. I thought like what Kyrie does, I saw Isaiah do.
It's a different era of ball.
It's a different era ball.
Bird. Just skills. Because he wasn't physically gifted.
No, he wasn't.
And he was drunk. every
lot.
day that he wasn't playing basketball.
A lot. But
He's
yeah,
still dominant.
But again, like I've honestly haven't seen the way that Kyrie handles a rock. I think that he does have the best handle I've ever seen. I thought Zeke was great. I think that AI was great. I love Jason Williams. His handle was stupid.
Shout out to White Chocolate.
And then his angles at which he lays the ball up in traffic.
He can score from
contorts the ball a certain way.
But again,
off the
and that's what I'm saying. But watch a layup clip of Derrick Rose from that MVP season. His
layup package was bonkers.
Was insane. Plus the power. He would dunk on you.
Yeah.
All right.
He's up there though.
So we're not being prisoners of the moment.
He's
that guy.
But you know what? It's so funny though with the whole Kyrie thing because like I feel like the last few years after the whole like the demanding of trades and the Boston debacle and kind of bouncing around, people started to like flush the toilet on Kyrie and like all of a sudden now it's like Kyrie's the best skilled player. It's like where were y'all 3 years ago? Yeah. Like Kyrie's been a dog. He was balling in Brooklyn, albeit being hurt and want to go be
everywhere he went.
Civil rights leader. He's always been this Kyrie, and everybody started to flush the toilet on him because of the off the court stuff. He's been this great the entire time. He actually was this at Duke.
Speaking
he only
of
played 11 games, but
I think winning helps because nobody's talking about how crappy that trade is.
What are they winning?
They're gonna fall on their face.
What is Dallas winning?
Is Dallas not a playoff?
They're winning the regular season.
They're not even a top 4 seed.
I think that people expected coming into this season that Dallas was just still going to be crappy.
Do you believe in Dallas to make a run in the playoffs?
Crappy? People thought they would be crappy because I thought a lot of people were kind of like hype about. Listen, right now,
a full season of Luka and Kyrie together.
Right now, Dallas is an 8 seed and they're playing Phoenix in a playing game. They very well could lose that game. Yeah. And then now they get the winner of the Lakers and the Warriors. They very well could lose that game. They could end up not making the playoffs at all.
They don't play defense.
So they're not a winning team in my opinion. But again, for whatever reason, all of a sudden now people are back on the Kyrie train. I guess because he's not going out here and marching for civil rights stuff.
He did do all of that on the empty stomach.
I guess, or he's not out here tweeting about Jewish movies or whatever it was that he had done. Is that why everybody's cool with Kyrie again? Like, what's with the finicky stuff, man?
He's always been him.
Got to get him away from KD. Is that what it is?
Yeah, apparently had to get him out of Brooklyn. Brooklyn had him tapping too deep into his black side, I guess.
Sent him to Texas. That was a bad accent. Texas. It's been another beautiful week of the Somebody Said podcast, episode 155.
Texas. Name of the show. That's the name of the show.
Sorry to the listeners for my voice and all the coughing, man, but I'm getting through it. Shout out to Sir. We didn't shout out
Sir.
Sir the Bear, our new co-host.
Shout out to Sir. He was quiet today.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Anything else y'all want to talk about before we get up out of here? Anything sports related you want to mention?
I think that's it, boss. Let's turn up for March.
We didn't talk about the females. Shout out to the females. We didn't do a bracket.
Shout out to the women.
Asha's been asking about doing a bracket for the females.
I'm down doing a bracket. I'm cool. Shout out to the Lightning. The Lightning in the last week have knocked off 2 of the top 3 teams in the East. We beat Florida at Florida, and we beat the Rangers at home. Right now, we are up on Vegas, who's a top 3 seed in the West.
So you're getting hot when it's right.
Hey, man, those trade deadlines, y'all asked, did the Lightning do enough? I don't know if it's enough, but, man, we look good, man.
How's the black guy?
Forget about it, cuz.
He's hooping.
All right.
Is he? And every time I think he's got a point in every game since he became a Bolt.
Pump, you were talking down.
Every time he scores, I think about you. He scored tonight. Every time he scores, I think about you.
It's not gonna last
long. Was it like a weekend?
It's like 4 or 5 games.
Okay.
How many games is it gonna take for him?
Yeah. What's the line? Let's go ahead and set the line now. How many games before you
respect it?
Game 7.
7 games.
Yep.
He has to play 7 games.
7 games.
He's pretty close.
No, I'm sure.
I think he's pretty close.
Hey, it started off good, and then I think I have a.
You having an unnatural allegiance to losers is not like you.
He's played 4 games.
He got 3 more.
Okay.
Enjoy it.
Okay. We got some layups coming up. I don't know if now is the time to pick 7. We got San Jose this week. We got the Kings.
I'm setting it at 7.5. I'm taking the under.
Okay. All right.
Well, let's get up out of here, man. Yeah. Episode 155. Man to my right, the maestro himself, Pumpy Johnson.
Texas.
the one and only Breeze himself to my furthest right.
Yeah.
And I'm a...
We're just normal men.
What do you mean, normal men?
We're just innocent men.